Hello, everyone. This is speaking Bogdana Brilinська from VIV UNESCO City of Literature office. And today we have the live event called the Magnetism, why a literature residence is important for the city. And they're going in our series of events for the book forum which we decided to call the literature effect. We will talk about the programs and literature events that are making the sustainable effect on the literature sphere in the city. And now we will talk with our two co-coordinators, also the coordinators of the cities of literature from Tartu and Busan, Mar'ya Unт and Sojон from Mar'ya Unт is from the Tartu, Estonia, and Sojон is from Busan, South Korea. So thank you guys for coming. Hello. And the first question that I will ask you is the general question to both of you. What is the main idea for your literature residencies in your cities? What is the genre that you are working with, literature genre that you are working with, or maybe some group of the literature activists from your city that you're, or from different cities that you're working with? Mar'ya, could you please be the first one to answer?
Thank you, and first, thank you for inviting me. And it's, I'm sure it's going to be interesting to discuss these issues here. Well, our residency has a really broad profile, actually. The main idea behind starting the residency program was to enable more international communication between creative people, between writers, and to create links between different cultures, to offer the opportunity to get to know our city to international writers, and also to connect our local writers and other literary figures with the international guests. Of course, we also have international festivals, but being in a city, being in an environment for 2 to 5 days isn't exactly the same than staying there for let's say 2 months, which is the period of our residency. So this was the main idea when we launched the project. Well, Estonian is a small language, and our literature is not so well internationally known. So it's both an opportunity, but we are also historically a very translating culture, very translating literary culture. So on one hand, there's this wish to get to know other cultures more closely via the specific people, specific writers, and get to know their works, and also to introduce them to the local audiences, and also to show our city, our literary scene, our writers and translators, so on. And we do not have a specific genre or anything like that. The principle from the start has been to be as open as possible. So when we launched the residency, we actually aimed it for both non-resident writers, meaning writers not residing in Estonia, from all parts of the world, whether they be cities of literature or not, and also translators, meaning the translators who translate Estonian literature into other languages. And during the 3 years we have had the residency until now, we have had applications from both writers and translators, but we have also come to a conclusion that perhaps we'd also need a separate residency for the translators, because so far the guests have been mainly writers. And when choosing the residence, we always try to consider not only what interests us in the works and the ideas of the applicant and the proposed program while being here, but also what being in our city, this experience of the environment, can give to the resident, and how we suppose the proposed resident or the applicant could communicate with the city. So that's one of the main principles.
Thank you. And now you, Seong, could you please tell me what is the main idea of the residency in Bucheon?
Yes, launching the residency program is major international initiative for us to do in terms of enhancing the international cooperation with other creative cities of literature and supporting the values of creativity and diversities of voices. So we aimed to launch the program for a long time, but it didn't happen very easily. So we studied other creative cities who followed the lead before us, and we studied ourselves what we could offer for the other artists from different cultures. So we decided to open a call to all different kind of writers, but we add the opportunities for the graphic novelists and graphic artists, because we found out that Bucheon is based in the Korean manhwa cartoon content agency is based in Korea, Bucheon, and many cartoonists reside and work in our city. So we thought there could be great opportunity if we invite some artists from our friend cities to come to the Bucheon and make some connections and explore their artistic world further. So that's why we started this way, and we were very happy to find good responses.
Thank you. And the most difficult question is next, because I know that nobody wants to talk about the finance in the beginning of when we are talking about our programs, because it's very different in the different cities, in the different countries. But I will ask, who is the main financing source for the residencies program in your city? And if you can share any numbers of the budget, I think it will be very interesting for our audience. So I'm just asking, you can say that it is a confidential or something like that, but still. So Seong, who is the main source of the financing for your
Our
residency?
program is financed by the city government, okay? And the budget assigned for the running residency program is about 15 to 17,000 euros. I calculated before, okay. And it's mainly for hosting 2 residents, including traveling costs and stipend, and running extra cultural events.
Mm-hmm.
And also accommodation too.
Accommodations. Okay, Marya? Could you
Well, yeah, our information is not confidential, since all the reports and responses to applications are public anyway. So our main financing comes from the city budget, and we also get some support from the Estonian Culture Endowment. And to add there, some input from the partners, for example, whom we work with while organizing events with the residents, let's say. I would say the overall annual cost is, the budget is something between 6,000 and 7,000 euros. And well, this goes mainly for accommodation costs, partly organizing events, and also project management, because we have a special contact person assigned for the residents, so the person gets paid. And also travel expense, which we cover partly, because since we have to apply for funding before we know where the residents are from, it would be very difficult to give a prognosis about the travel cost. So we cover fixed amounts of that. So this is what the budget consists of.
Yeah, and you were saying that you
And
have
sorry, the scholarship, natural as well.
scholarship. Yeah, I remember that there was a scholarship also. Yeah, and you're saying that you have the special person who is responsible for managing the events with the resident. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very logical for my next question. What is the main method of the integration the residents to the culture events in the city and literature events in the city? So you can probably now tell us, Marya, what is the main method and how are you doing, and what is the main events that you are putting the residents in?
Well, yes, the assistant or assigned contact person is definitely one of these ways to integrate the resident more. Well, of course, the way the contact person works and how much he or she is needed is very different with each resident, because we try not to overwhelm people with information and contacting. Basically, the contact person just, if necessary, shows the city, introduces people, and helps organizing the event, because sometimes I'm myself the contact person, sometimes I use somebody else. And well, if there's somebody else, I also work closely with the contact person. And well, as for the main events, of course, we have timed our residencies so that spring one is during our literary festival Prima Vista, and the autumn residency is during our coincides with our autumn festival called Crazy Tartu. So these two are definitely the main places we ask the residents to perform. They're not obliged, but we offer that opportunity. And depending on the creative profile of the residents, how they work, what they work with, what they write, we try to organize either public readings, discussions, workshops, and so on. And again, the partners depend on who the residents are, but we mainly work with Tartu Department of the Rights Union, for example, also all other organizations in our literature house. But yeah, also the festivals, Literary Museum has been our partner, and one of our main partners is Carl Museum, the former museum, Carl Society, in fact, which offers the accommodation in the rooms of one Carl who was one of the most famous writers of 20th century in Estonia.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I like forgot to add this question, but now I'm thinking also about the infrastructure, because the main reason to start the residency, like for us in Lviv, is just to have the place where we can accommodate the people from other cities of literature. Maybe after this, young will tell us what is the main culture events you're putting in the residence. We will talk a bit about the infrastructure of the residences in your city. If you could please tell me, it's an additional question, but still. So Seong, what is the main culture events in your city for the residents that they can participate in?
So we are still working on it now. Okay, talking with the residents and what they would like to do in our city. And we would like to see more broadly beyond Busan and what they can do in Korea too. And now we think that this is a great opportunity for us to introduce our writers to them also and our local scene. So we are thinking about mobilizing libraries and small bookstores and some other associations to be part of this residency program, and for them, for the residents to introduce their work, and also for the people to have some interesting ideas and open heart to the other cultures and other writers. So it's still working on it. So
yeah, thank you. And now the question is, what is the place that residents will be staying in Buchon? What is the, how to say, the house or the place where they will be staying there?
I know that Tartu has a really nice literary house for the residents to stay, and some Reykjavik, also other cities have really good literary buildings. That was the main problem for us because we do not have facilities specifically for the residents. So we've Googled and we tried to find out what we can do, and maybe it could be a studio, small studio located in the city area for the residents to explore the local scenes and commute to other cities by subway and public transportation and very easily. And the location where it is very close to their work studio, which will be provided by Korea Cartoon Content Agency, thankfully. So we focused on the studio that they can easily feel connected to the local citizens.
Thank you. And Maria, you were saying you have the house, as I know, the literature.
Yes. Well, no, not actually. We don't accommodate the resident in our literature house because we do have a guest room in the house, but it's for short stays, not for suitable for long stays. So we're working with the Garden Ristic Society that manages the room, the former apartment of Garden Ristic, which also have been partly preserved as they were when the writer lived there. So it has a historic atmosphere, it's a whole actually first floor of a house, so it's spacious, and it's located in a really nice, quiet area, not far from the city center. So that's where our residents are accommodated. Well, the only problem being that we can only accommodate one person at a time, or maybe, well, if they want to bring families and so on. But now that we're developing, for example, writers' exchanges and so on, to also coincide with the festivals, we also have to look for other options as well, so that we can have like 2 or 3 guest writers here at the same time.
Yeah, we are having pretty much the same problem as Buchon, because we don't still have the place where, but to accommodate the persons who will come to view, I hope very soon. But we have 2 ideas and 2 spaces that we are working now with, and I think that till the end of the autumn we will have the answer where the literature residency in Lviv will be, and then we will start. Everything is ready, like the programming, we have the idea what we want to do in the literature residency, we have the idea that we definitely will have the translators, because we have the same situation as Estonia, that we are the small language, and our literature needs the additional promotion to another languages, and the translation is the only way. So I hope that we will be having also some programs that will help to study the Ukrainian literature and the local literature, but it's all only now in our plans. And still we are working with a few different institutions, such as our literature museum and literature museum of Ivan Franko, the main star of the local literature history. And the next question is, what is the other institutions that are working with you on this literature residencies program? Do you have any partners, and who is the main players on this program with you? So Maria, could you please tell me?
Yes, actually, I think I mentioned most of them already. One of the closest partners is the department of Estonian Writers Union, but we have also collaborated with Estonian Literary Museum, which also, for example, offers tours in the museum for the residents, and the residents have done workshops there. We have an independent bookstore in our literature house called Utopia, which has been a really close partner. And depending on the resident now, well, so far we haven't had much collaboration with the local libraries, but this is also always an option for us. So it also always depends on who or let's say publishers, magazines. I would say that Estonian culture magazines have been really supportive of our program, and we have managed to publish interviews and also translations from the residents' works there. So the range of partners and the range of future opportunities is quite wide, I would say.
Sojong, and your main partners in the literature residence program?
Main partner would be currently a Korea Cartoon Content Agency, and also public libraries, and also we will extend our their help from the Korean Literature Translation Institute of Korea, so that we could find some resources and people who can be introduced to the residents, so that they can learn more about our culture, as well as find some opportunity for their work to be recognized. Yeah.
And now I wanted to talk about the situation that we are having now with the literature residences program in your city. So both of you, so the Tartu and Buchan, they started the residencies program this year, and I already we were waiting for the results for the Tartu residency program. I think on the May, yes, it was May or March, even March, and then the COVID started, and now we don't have the answer who will go to the Tartu literature residency, but maybe Maria, you could tell us what will happen next now, and what is the situation with the program this year in your city?
Yes, well, actually, just when COVID hit in March, we had the residents selected, and we had actually announced them locally. And I was about to publish the announcement in English when it became clear that we won't know whether we will have residents this year or not. So we selected 2 residents. For the first time, actually, we announced both residencies for the year at the same time. We used to do one call in the beginning of the year for the spring residency and one call in the autumn or in the summer for the autumn residency. Now we make both calls together with a common deadline. And we chose Russian writer Irina Bogotyryova for the spring residency and the Canadian young poet Laura Clark for the autumn period. And for some time we didn't know what's going to happen. Now it has become quite clear that we have to postpone the planned spring residency at least to spring 2021. So we're not giving up on the selected residents, definitely. We'll try to work and communicate with them to find best options. And there's still some glimmer of hope that we can go with the urban residency, because yes, it's a bit easier with the residents when we're talking about international mobility in the cultural sphere than, let's say, compared to the festival guests, because residents come here for 2 months, and if they come here to write and participate and work anyway, it might not be a problem to stay in quarantine for 14 days, let's say. So we'll see about the autumn residency right now. And we really hope that in the future we can go forward, because we're actually planning to extend and expand our mobility options every year, especially considering the fact that Tartu will be European Capital of Culture 2024. So we're also working within that framework with our residency and all other residencies and other mobility projects. So I'm really, really hoping that we can return to normal rhythm of this project as soon as possible.
Yeah, it would be a great opportunity to come to Tartu when you will be celebrating the status of the culture capital. Yeah, I hope that everything will be going well till then, because it's a pity if you if everything is postponed now after the COVID started. And as I know, Busani is also thinking now how they will manage the literature residency. The call was also very early this year. And what is the result, and what we are planning to do now with the literature residencies?
So we opened the call last January, and we received 75 applications, which we didn't expect that much. So we were very happy, but it was extremely difficult for us to choose only 2 out of brilliant qualified artists. But Corona pandemic happened, and we had to reschedule our residency program. Originally, we were going to host 2 residents in the beginning of July or August. So we postponed the schedule. Now, I found out that yesterday we bought the flight tickets for the 2 residents, which we expecting to have them in the first week of October, including 2 weeks quarantine. Okay, and that's it. And next year, we will be focusing on the specific genres. I think that will be much easier and more fair for us to select one or two artists for the specific genre.
So what genres are you thinking of the next year?
Because Busan is also home for the Busan International Film Festival, which is really genre specific, like horror and sci-fi, things like that. So it would be very interesting to open a call to the sci-fi authors, okay. Science fiction genre authors.
Yeah, it's very interesting because we are also thinking for very long what genres or what types of programs we need to open, because we have very different kind of literature here in Ukraine, and cooperation with the international authors was very interesting for a lot of different genres here. And you were saying, Maria, that you're planning the new translation program, maybe something also additionally new you're planning to do in your literature residencies.
Sorry?
And you were telling me that you were having like the new type of program will be the translation program. Maybe something additional also. Maybe something
Yes.
new, not with the translations you are planning to do in your residency. What would that be?
Well, we actually did city-to-city writers exchange this year with Norwich. Well, say speed, well, it's not entirely correct because our writer managed to be in Norwich for 2 weeks, and then COVID hit and we had to come home, and we still haven't had the opportunity to host the Norwich writers. I'm really hoping that we can, well, finish this project still. And this is also something we're working on to create more city-to-city connections, writers exchanges. And we are also working on something called Bring Your Own Utopia, which is meant for to take place within the frameworks of Charter 2054. The idea behind that being a series of mini residences from UNESCO City of Literature, where creators come to Tartu and try to reflect their own dystopic, utopic experiences of their own city and reflect them according to what they see in Tartu, and would put them in contact with local creators from other fields of art as well. So it would be some kind of interdisciplinary cooperation. We still haven't worked out the details, but I'm hoping we can launch the project already as of 2022, the latest.
Thank you. And we are talking almost half an hour now, and I think that the last question to our talk will be what, to your point of view, is the main reason why we should have the literature residences in the cities? What is the main role of this kind of programs for the city in general, for the community, and for the development of the literature environment in your city? Sooyoung?
Okay, I think that our city's motto is the power of literature to change life. I think residency program perfectly fits our motto, and it's a great opportunity to connect people, stories, places, things like that. So we think that it's really important, and we would like to do this year's program very well, and learn and make work hard to make it better every year. And I think it's I would like to highlight that it's this online conversation is really helpful for us to get to know what other cities are doing and struggling and challenging, learning from each other. So that's our motto, and we think that this is a great opportunity not only to offer the opportunity for the writers from different cultures, but for our citizens to be exposed to other cultures and the different stories and different voices. So I think it's really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Sooyoung. And Maria, what do you think why the literature residences are so important for the city?
Well, quite a lot of those reasons were just mentioned already, and I agree with them that it's important in both ways. We really want to be a place where writers can come and relax and feel inspired and do their work, because it's not just about public performances, but also residency programs should enable the creators to focus on their works. And Tartu has been historically a really inspiring and literary place, so we're hoping to offer that for also foreign writers. And we also love to share the opportunity of contacting different cultures, learning about different literatures, different works of different writers to the local communities, to the local readers, and also, well, help to build contacts between our writers and translators and our foreign contacts and guests. So one of the ideas of behind our residency has also been all the time to maintain those contacts. So it won't be a short 2 months when the resident is here and then it's goodbye and we never meet or exchange letters again. That can also happen. But we also aim to remain in contact, perhaps turn to the writer again, invite them to the festival in the next years to come, and so on. So long-term collaboration is also something we're looking forward to.
Thank you both for your answers, for your time. I think that you both are right that the literature residency is like a place where we want to put through what we want to connect to other cities of literature and bring them closer to us and other cities in general, other languages, other cultures. So I think that I hope we will meet very soon in live, on some live event and hug each other and have a deep conversation about the literature programs in general in our cities. But thank you for participating in this event and hope we will see each other very soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
So now we also have in our studio Milan and Paola from Milan, the coordinator of the Milan UNESCO City of Literature activities. And we will talk with her about the different kind of literature residencies, because Milan is preparing something special. It's not the same. It's not about writers, poets, translators, but they are working with other kind of players of the literature sphere. So could you please, Paula, tell us what is the main idea of the literature residence in Milan?
Yes, sure. Milan was designated the UNESCO Creative City in 2017, and the city hosts 30% of all publishers in Italy and 51 employers in Italian published firms. So the support to young talents in this professional paths, it's one of the relevant goals of the city, and has set in the definition of this application. In particular, the activity identified as suitable in this area, and we call culture space for a creative-led urban development. Included the promotion of exchange professional system and international publishing industry, with the professional from the European and international industry, and the new literature publisher project. This idea started a long time ago, because we have with the library system of China several international cooperation. Since 2017, Milan and Hangzhou in China signed a pact that provide every 6 months, 3 months of work for our librarian and their librarian. This it's a very interesting coordination and cooperation, because the positive contribute is to increase the professional experience of library area. With the same idea, we try to make a residence plan for UNESCO Creative City of Literature. We start with a contact to the professional association, identification the category that we are interested to contact, and we understand that it was bookseller, editor, publisher or editor, and librarian. We identification the type of activity that may be the great interest the potential guest, and we guarantee an effective communication on the project by the international channel like Italian Publishers Association, Facebook, or other channel like this. The duration of the residence, we think must be about 10 days, because we are interested to put a contact directly with the professional house and the bookshop and the library. So 10 days could be a good period. All the professional association participate all our work to designate the persons who have been to arrive in Italy. The creation of the residence program was spread to Italian professionals to a letter of invitation to participate in the activity, and we were interested to have some indication about the interested about Milan or the Italian context that this professional could have, a knowledge of discussion about the creative and the design processing that they had in their experience, and maybe something that could attract our interest. The project must be a dialogue with the compare the creative city and the representative of the other professional exchange system.
Can I have a question, like additional?
Sure.
What were you thinking about? What could be the result of this cooperation? Like maybe something published, or should it be like another project between the libraries and the publishers? What was your goal in that?
We think we can make some experience that could be more long time, spend more time with this collaboration. Could be interested for the two town, for example, Milan and the other town who arrive here, but also we think could be interested to have a longer collaboration. Maybe could burn something that we don't think in this moment, but a collaboration directly from, for example, bookseller or librarian, for a collaboration maybe for not only 1 year, 2 years, but for long time. This is what we hope. But anyway, could be also interested just to have an experience, to know a new experience directly with the people who work in this area, not by representative of UNESCO, you know, but put a direct contact from bookseller and Italian bookseller and strange bookseller. Anyway, the problem was, like you can understand, the COVID-19 that stopped our residence program have to start 9 March. So exactly when they start lockdown in Italy, the same day.
Great.
Yeah, right. But anyway, we decided that it was too difficult to change the date, and we postponed it exactly to March 2021 because
1 year after.
We have an important international meeting in March. We call Stelline meeting, and Stelline is like star meeting, and it's maybe the biggest occasion for librarian, bookseller, and editor to have a work together. So we decided to postpone exactly 1 year later because it's a too important occasion for us. So
so I don't know if I could ask, but I will ask, what is the main source of the financing for this residency? Who is the main source of the finance? If you can answer,
I can.
Yeah, and what is, maybe you can tell us what is the amount of money you are spending on this, you are planning to spend on this residency?
Well, the financial is a completely Milan administration, completely. The other category of stakeholder help us with the work, not with money. So they help us to organize the day of this person, the day, I mean, they organize the meeting.
Like the logistic of the staying, yes?
Yes, but not about the money.
Yeah.
Money, it's, but anyway, Milan decided that this is the way they want follow, because this is important for the town and for the economy of the town. So we decided for this way.
It's a very good example of how the city can support the industry, not only the authors, the artists, but the industry players. So my next question is, what do you think, why it is important to work exactly with a specialist from the industry, not only with the authors? What was the main reason you decided to work with them, especially? Maybe the connection with the history of Milan, I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Milan, you know, it's famous because it's the biggest industry town in Italy and one of the biggest in Europe. So this is the first idea that I have. The second idea is that Milan have a politic about the reading system, not only for Milan, but for the country. Because Italy, it's a very big about bookstore, about editor, about publisher, but it's not so strong about reading people. The reading, it's really difficult in Italy because booksellers have a lot of book, but low people buy books. We have a statistic that said about 40% of Italian people never buy a book in 1 year. So this it's very important. You can have to be a creative city if you don't think about this problem. And so the second reason, because Milan decided to help the industry system, is also because maybe if you give an idea that reading is important for your life, for your economy, for your, you can help this sector of industry.
Thank you. And also what I wanted to ask, do you have any special place where the residents will be staying? Maybe the plan for the place or the house, because like everybody thinking about the residents, where they like the beautiful house they will be living during residential program. Maybe you have some special place for them already.
We had an idea because maybe, I don't know if you know Feltrinelli. Feltrinelli is a famous publisher in Italy, and the woman who directed this published industry always invited the artistic, the writer, and so we thought about this also for our project, but she died 6 months ago.
Oh.
She was very, very old. She was very, very old. So we are thinking about something different, because it was very nice to have a publisher who directly in this house can have hospitality for these 3 people. Anyway, we think about something.
It is a very hard year. I think that everything is extreme in the meaning of the planning. So
Yes.
So it was an additional.
Just the one in Italy. She was just one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe the last question to our conversation will be, why do you think the residential program in general are important for the cities? What they're bringing to the city literature society, and what you hope they will bring to Milan?
In January, before COVID, I went to Angoulême. That's it's a new city for us, for our cluster. And I was very surprised about what is for them a residence program. So I think we have a lot of way to work to arrive at this idea of a residence program. I think we have to start to have a different idea. Program residence must be not only an opportunity for people who arrive, but also for people who host this initiative. So I was really surprised. Angoulême, it's really a different world for us. They are very organized, very competitive, also with the idea, because they make from the book, they make a lot of relation with movie, with records, with a lot of different kind of culture system, but that they start from book and they open their eyes in all the world. So I think that is the question. The book, it's something where you start. You start from book to open to other culture system.
Yeah, and also I wanted to know what time and for what culture events you are planning to have this, maybe the integration of this residence to other culture events, not only to the like to cooperation with the libraries and publishers, but maybe some events that you will be having in Milan next year. You were saying about this star meeting, but maybe something additional, some festivals or something like that.
I don't know. In this moment, it's very difficult.
But,
very, very difficult. COVID, it's not long our past. It's still yeah. And I can give you an idea because we don't know really what it will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
We are working just. For the first time, we have a problem also with money because the administration closed completely our balance. So it's not a good moment to make a good fantasy idea. No, I don't think it's the moment for this.
But I hope that everything will go well and we will have more stable next year. We have the same problem here in Lviv now that we cannot plan anything 2 months ahead, generally, even weeks. So I hope that everything will go well and that literature residencies programs in all our cities will be back on. And because it was very important for us to have this opportunity for we publishers also to come to Milan maybe in some next years. I thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you too.
Yeah, I hope we will see soon each other in some live events and talk about this eyes to eyes, not to the screen. So thank you, Paula, and hope you will be having the good day.
Thank you to see you very early.
Yeah, so bye.
Bye. Bye from Italy.